Yo, good afternoon, my people. What's up? Yes, sir. Top of the morning to everybody, to all my kings and queens moving on this Sunday, man. Safe travels to everybody out there. Let me go ahead and get my guests up, man. Um, ain't gonna waste no time. Wait a minute. Hold on. What am I doing? I'm sorry, y'all. Get my brother D Free in here. Underrated. All right. What's up, y'all? I ain't have time to do all that other stuff I usually do when I come on. I'm like, nah, let's get to it. What's up, fellas?
What's good? What's good? I'm tired as a mug.
Man, listen, you talking about you tired. Hey, man, let me tell you something, man. Hanging out in Queens yesterday, man. For the Freaky Tide Day was crazy. Let me tell you something, D Free, man. Hanging out with the Lost Boys, man, will tire your ass out.
Yeah, no, I was ripping and running all day yesterday. I had to go to Dreams football practice yesterday morning. Then I had to go to Best Buy to get a new monitor, set that up.
Yeah.
Then we had Dreams birthday party. Got
Oh yeah, I didn't even call. Oh, I was supposed
well,
to call Big
his
Dream.
birthday's on Tuesday. His birthday.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I'm
his
gonna make sure I
birthday.
call. I'm gonna make sure I talk to him Tuesday.
Then
So did
after
he
that,
enjoy it?
yeah, man. He had a ball. We went to Monster Golf. He had a ball. He won like 500 tokens. Got an unlimited game pass, so he was playing games all day long. And then after that, we went to IHOP because at Monster Golf they don't serve food, so we went to
Oh,
IHOP. And then
that sucks.
after we left IHOP, I had to go straight to work. So I dropped the wife off, came in the house, got dressed, took the dog out so she could use the bathroom. Then I went to work, got off at 4 in the morning. Then I woke up and I've been on live streams after live streams all day. And then I'm in the house making barbecue ribs and baked beans and seafood salad. So I'm wore out.
Damn. Well, sound like you had an interesting day. What about you, Underrated? Did you have an interesting day yesterday too? Oh
Man,
man.
I did a little walking. I pick up a few things, and then I had to break up a fight.
Damn. Not a
I had to break
fight.
up a fight. I had to break up a fight, and then I came back and I did a live about the Knicks. That's about it. So I ain't yeah.
Okay.
That's about
Um,
it.
I forgot to do that too. Shit, I'll probably have to do that tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow afternoon, I might have to do that. I totally forgot about it. My original plan was to do that yesterday, but there was no way. I was in Queens the whole damn day yesterday, and it took me forever just to get out of there too. Being out, it's Saturday and how the trains are set up. But I had a very interesting day yesterday, man. I got to meet a lot of Queens legends, man. A couple of people from the Supreme team, some people that survived it were out there, and it was crazy. A lot of these guys I exchanged contact with, and so be on the lookout for me to be doing a lot of chop ups with them. So it's very interesting, man. It was crazy, but I enjoyed it for the most part. So, of course, y'all know we have our girl Alycia Baumgardner coming back July 11th. I don't know much about her opponent, Jennifer. Don't know much about her. Hold on, who's this? Oh, that's you. Okay. Um, Connor Loco, what's up? Salute. Everybody go subscribe to my brother Connor Loco TV. Want to start with D Free first. Remember the last time we seen her, I believe she was in a no contest. Uh,
Who?
Alycia, that last fight she had, something
Oh, the one
happened.
The
Yeah.
one that was in that the little
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. It was something
He said, I
small.
don't know what the.
I don't know what it was, but I was like, dang, what mean, what's going on with Alycia? They ain't putting her in no arena. But yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it was. I don't know what happened with that fight. Um, I vaguely remember that fight because I was so focused on the arena that she was fighting, and I was like, man, what the hell is this? I forgot
yeah,
exactly what happened in that fight. But she's working with Derek James now. I hope Derek James can help her stamina, because that's her biggest problem is the fact that she burned out at the end of the sixth round. She pretty much be spent. But
yeah,
this girl that she's about to fight, she's 12-0 with only one knockout. So she's not a knockout artist. I mean, she shouldn't be in real danger like that. I don't know how well she boxes. I just know that she doesn't have any power. So she shouldn't be in any real danger. Alycia might get a stoppage in this fight. A female like that with no power, unless they are very good boxers, and you don't see that too often with females. But unless she's a very good boxer, I think Alycia should be able to get a stoppage.
yeah. The crazy thing is, right, with her and Derrick James being together and him getting a lot of feedback from, because he's not getting the love that he used to get, man. Especially now after just watching Ryan Garcia lose the way he did. How do you think this relationship between her and Derek is going to work out? And I mean, I'm just saying because it looks like it could be something good. But I thought she was going with Bill. What happened with that though? I thought she was going with Bill, or was that just for show?
Don't give me the line. It's Sunday. Don't give me the line. I don't know what happened with that
I
one.
thought she was doing the Bill route. It was looking good at first.
I don't know if Bill was trying to be her trainer or her manager. I don't know what it really was. I don't know. I'm
No
not
doubt,
gonna
Rich.
I'm not gonna try to assume anything because
Yeah,
I really don't know what it was. Um, but far as um, Dirk James, it all depends if she feels like he really helped her and he took her to the next level because she's already an undisputed champion. So far as putting her out there and getting her notice and furthering her career, he's not going to do anything like that. He's just a trainer. So if it feels like he takes her to the next level, I think she'll stay with him. We don't really have a lot of things about Alycia switching trainers like that. I don't know how long she was with Tony Harris, but Tony Harrison. But I know she was with Tony Harrison for a while, and I don't know. It was a rumor that they had something going on behind the scenes. I don't know how true that is, um,
yeah,
but that could be the reason why they're not together anymore because maybe they split up or whatever have you. If any of
yeah,
that rumor is true, so
yeah.
I don't know, but I, far as I know, I only know of Alycia having two trainers. I don't know how many more she had that I don't know about, but I know about Tony Harrison and the first trainer she had. But those are the only ones that I know about. I don't know if she had any other trainers.
Mm. Yeah, I don't. She's not one of those fighters where she had 5, 6 different trainers. It was Tony Harrison. We thought it was going to be Bill Haney, but okay, and then now it's Derrick James. Um, I'm glad to see her back in the mix. She better enjoy boxing while she can because Caroline. Oh, here, Cano Loco go. Here, Cano go. Here, Cano go. Cano,
He
Cano,
got a
you're a shit
point though.
starter.
He got a point though because
Oh, Connor, you ain't nothing but a shit starter, man. Here you go, Connor.
he got a point though. He got a point because the boy is she looking like she might be an animal. She looking like she might be an animal. She looking like what we thought her brother was going to be early on in his career. Now it seems like he might be back on the right path, but she
Yeah.
looks like what we thought her brother was going to be.
Um, I can't lie. I am a fan of old girl. I can't lie though. and I like that. I like her as a fighter, man. I can't lie. I watched her enough times that I'm familiar with her, and I can't lie. I'm a fan of her though. We don't know. So this girl, have you looked up this Jennifer?
Yeah,
This girl that
yeah. I was just
what's
looking at her. I was just looking at her.
yeah?
Like
Because
I
I
said, she's 12-0, one knockout. Um, far as opponents that you will know she fought, probably none of them. She fought her debut was against a girl named uh, Claire Summit.
Yes.
Then she fought Jessica Sanchez. Then Vanessa Cabral twice. Then she fought Caroline Nickelbo. I can't pronounce her.
Nickelbar.
Yeah, Nickelbaugh. Caroline Nickelbaugh. She knocked her out. That was the only knockout she got.
damn.
Um, but yeah, as far as it ain't really too many people that ain't too many notable names on her resume. I mean, like I said, maybe one or two that you might know. That's
It's okay.
if you follow women boxing, it might be one or two that you know, but other than that, ain't no notable names on her resume.
You was gonna say something already? Go ahead.
No, no, I was checking out. I was checking out the resume. What Brother D Free was saying. It's like it's just. I mean, it ain't nothing really like sneeze about. So
Yeah.
it's really nothing. I mean, it's I guess wherever the front of her, she take care of business. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. So that's the way it is.
Yeah, because we see, like he says, when we see names that's not noticeable, or their opponents, we assume that okay, this fight is going to be easy. It should be. But all three of us have seen some strange things in boxing where we were like, oh, was that supposed to happen? Was he supposed to lose to him? Or was he supposed to beat him? So, we've seen some strange things. Anything could happen because if this girl goes in there and gives Alycia a tougher fight than we expected, which you have to expect these type of things, right? Because we all can sit here and predict what we think is going to happen, and we have to be careful with predictions because I swear to God, a lot of people thought Ryan would get his. They thought he would go in there and just beat the shit out of Rolly. We see how that turned out. So yeah, but I'm glad to see Alycia back. I think she fits perfect in that whole most valuable promotions. To see her over there in the position that she's in, it's beautiful. And how many belts now? Correct me, Free. How many belts do Alycia hold? 4, 5? How many?
She, she's undisputed.
Ah, that just sounds right. I just like that name, Undisputed. Undisputed. Let me ask you, Free, not to skip this fight because we want to stay on this. And this might not happen, right? It's two. I got two questions I want to ask you, and I want Underrated to get involved in this. Do you think there's a chance we see her get back in there with Michaela Mayer, or do we see her eventually fighting Amanda Serrano? If nobody else, if there's nothing else out there,
Amanda
which there's
Serrano,
still.
Amanda Serrano, no. Amanda Serrano is her promoter. She's not gonna fight her. Um, Michaela Mayer, there's a possibility. There's a possibility they can get in the ring. But nah, she's not fighting Amanda Serrano. She's a promoter now. So that
Oh
that
yeah, you know what? Shit, I
that
forgot
ship
about
has
that part.
sailed. Yeah, yeah, that ship sailed. So we will never see that.
Yeah, you know what? I almost forgot about that. Damn, she damn sure worked for her. That's some crazy shit. Go ahead, Underrated.
Time go up there. I agree with Brother D Free. We said about the same thing too. Yeah, see.
Yeah, because I'm sitting here thinking about that. And I'm like, I like to see her and Michaela get it in again. I enjoyed the first one. For some reason Michaela thought she had that first one. Sometime I like to go back and watch that. It was a pretty good fight. It was a good scrap.
I think the biggest fight for out there right now, after she get a couple of more fights under her belt, it probably is Carolina Dubois. That's probably the biggest fight for her right now because she looked like she might be the only one that poses a real threat to Alycia Baumgardner because of her style of fighting. She fights similar to Amanda Serrano. She's going to come at you and put the pressure on you. And she's a big puncher. So she might be the only threat for Alycia Baumgardner at that weight class.
Uh, you think Alicia's even looking that way, or does
I
Alycia even
mean,
know who she
right
knows who she
now,
is?
right
Maybe not right now, but does she acknowledge she knows? Because sometimes fighters will sit there and say, "I don't watch him, I don't watch her, so I don't know who they are," which is a bunch of BS to me.
yeah, yeah, I mean, you can say that somewhat like right now, but in the women's sport, you really can't do that because it ain't that many women fighters out there, not
Yeah,
quality fighters. So it's not, you really can't do that in the women's sport. That's why we see so many of these big fights between women because there's not that many fighters out there that's quality that you're going to make some money off of. With the men, it's so many men fighters out there that you can make
yeah,
money off of. You can avoid this fighter here, you can avoid that fighter there. But with the women, it's hard to avoid certain women because it
yeah,
ain't that many quality fights out there.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's hard to say in women's boxing. You ain't never heard of her. I'm saying it's like, what do you mean you ain't never heard of? It's not that much going on. So
Yeah.
why either you're trying to fool us or you're being a hater because you heard of her, rather if you like her or not, you've seen her. And I'm not calling Alicia that, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying so. Yeah, and you know what? That was a great point, Free, because I never looked at it like that. That it's easy for the men to say that I ain't never heard of dude. Because when you look at it, it is a lot of men and there's a lot of different divisions for these men.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's easy to say I ain't never heard of him. You can't get mad at somebody and they go, "How you ain't never heard of him? He's the best fighter in North Carolina." I don't give a damn. I never heard of him.
Yeah,
Can't get
because
mad if I ain't never heard of him.
that's true. Because you got like the women's boxing. You know how many undisputed champions that we have in women's boxing. Just be like
Yeah,
Yeah.
that. Ain't
Yeah.
that many? Ain't really hardly nothing. I mean, maybe 2 or 3. It's about
Like
it.
yeah,
when you look at the men, there's thousands of fighters for the men. Literally thousands of
yeah,
fighters. Like you can look at any division and you'll see, oh, he's ranked number 15 out of 1700. Or you look at this division, he's ranked number 6 out of 3000 something. So there's thousands of fighters. When you look at the women, it's okay, she's ranked number 2 out of 100 or something people. Or she's ranked number 1 out of 100 or something people. It's only hundreds of women. But when it comes to the men, there's thousands of fighters.
yeah.
Mhm.
And it's sad because it makes it BBO. What's up? It makes it harder for the ladies too, right? Because there's only so much. How can I say? It's only so many directions you can go in when it comes to women boxing because you could beat up every woman in your division and move up and do this and do that, and still it's like, okay, what's next?
Like this girl that she's about to fight right now. This girl is ranked she's number 3 in the world out of 196 women in this weight class.
She's
And a weight
ranked
card.
number. She's ranked number 3.
She's
3?
ranked number 3 in the world out of 196 women. So
Damn.
for this weight class, not for all women boxing.
No, but still though,
Because it's
even
that
for that
weight
weight
class.
class, that's still a problem.
Yeah. See, like
Jesus.
if you go to the men, like I'm gonna go to one of these men fighters right now. I go to Jerome Booth Ennis. Jerome
Hmm.
Booth Ennis weight class. And he is ranked. Uh, he is ranked number one out of 2,516 for that weight class.
Jesus Christ.
Literally 2,300 more people. Literally.
Yes, yeah. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy.
It is, and also let's not forget about how many belts is out there too. You got the red, green, all that too.
No, but for him to be that in that weight class, that's nasty.
Yeah,
2,000 and something. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like for women, it's really hard to avoid other women that's in the same weight class because there's not that many quality opponents out there for them to make money.
So does that? I mean, as men, we're speaking as men, but we're being fair. We're not going to be male chauvinists like some other dudes would be. Doesn't that kind of give? I don't know if I'm going to say this right. Does that kind of give women's boxing advantage because you can't run? See, men, you can run all day with the men, but it's like with the women, you can't run from this. It's not like you said, it's not many options.
Yeah, for the women, it's you get more quality fights from the women's side.
Yeah.
The men, you'll get some quality fights, and then some fights you'll be like, man, I don't care to see this. But when it comes to the women, for the most part, most of those fights are quality fights because it's not that many women out there. Like I said, there's literally only a few hundred women fighting. When it comes to a men, it's thousands of fighters. When it comes to men, just in Duran in his weight class alone, there's 2,516 different people fighting in the same 147-pound division. But in Alycia Baumgardner's division, on the women's side, there's only 196 women. So you get more quality opponents far as the women's side compared to the men's side. Now, of course, we look for the quality fights with the men, so we only focus on the quality fights. We overlook a lot of the bogus fights because we don't care to see those. But there's a lot of low budget fights that we don't talk about or we don't see that goes on every single week.
Yes.
But we don't talk about it. We don't see them because they're not quality fights. But when you get to the women, you pretty much every fight you talk about for the most part are quality fights because that's all they really have there to fight is quality opponents. Now some of them not as good as the other ones, but is more quality opponents because there are not so many opponents. And so you want to see how did this one pair up with that one because it ain't that many. You like, okay, if you're not gonna fight her, who else you gonna fight? There ain't that many people in your division.
Just just like we were talking about the Sedasia Green and Franchon Cruz. I'm like, I'm like, all this is on the same. I'm like, hell yeah! Like even just that fight alone. Oh, that's quality, baby. That's quality. Because who's not gonna wanna? You know what I'm saying? Who's not gonna? So it makes perfect. Excuse me, not Sedasia Green. Take that back. Sedasia Green and Savannah Marshall. Excuse me.
That's one of the reasons why Clarissa Shields got undisputed so quickly because there's not that many women out there. It's not that many. So
I'm glad you said that because I want to ask you an underrated. Do you think, and not taking nothing away from the growth, do you think if it would have been more competition out there, maybe it would be Krista would get more fights, or maybe there'll be somebody out there that could challenge her? Any one of y'all can go first. It doesn't matter.
It's always going to be somebody that could challenge her. Will they beat her? We got to see.
Yeah.
But it's always somebody that's going to challenge her because she is the champion, and if they want to be champion, they gotta fight her. So there's always going to be somebody that will challenge her.
And also too, you know, is less ducking in the women's side of boxing than the men's side.
Sauce, what's up?
So you gotta think about that too, and also, you know, with Carissa, you know, who's gonna duck her? They gotta fight her. You know, to fight for the champion, they gotta fight her one way or the other. But as for the men, see, like we gotta understand some of these men fighters, you know, they be ducking, they be hiding.
You know what I thought about, gentlemen? And maybe this has nothing to do with it, so feel free to correct me, D3, if I'm wrong. And I know she might have just been doing this for a payday, but then also because she could have been doing this because she know that it's not too many women in there. It's not enough women that can really fight each other. So whatever's there on the table, you got to take it. Do you think that was the reason why Alycia Baumgardner started all the stuff she did with Carissa, trying to make this big fight that, oh, women, there's people not really into women's boxing like that. So let's try to stir something up to give to try to bring in new boxing fans as far as to watch women. I mean, what do you think about that, Grinder?
It can. It could be, but it remains to be seen. They're gonna be fighting. It remains to be
I
seen.
feel like that. So, in case Free didn't hear me, that's what I felt like. I
What
don't
was
know.
the question again?
So the question was, being that the women's boxing is the way it is, and I'm not saying that Alycia did this on purpose. When she was doing what she was doing with Carissa, people could say she was just chasing the bag. But do you think she was trying to just make this big fight that, okay, we get a lot of good women's fights, but this one right here, this fight between me and her, even though it didn't make sense to people, that it can attract and bring in some new boxing fans into females boxing, because there's a lot of dudes and people out there that still don't believe in females boxing. So do you think she was just doing that not just to get a big bag, but just trying to, like, what do you think she was doing with that? Because I didn't understand what she was doing with it.
I don't know. I don't know if it was either one of those, because I think if she wanted to bring more views to the sport of boxing, I think her fighting Amanda Serrano was more of a meaningful fight, because a lot of people would have overlooked that fight because it's Carissa Shields. She's a much
Yeah.
bigger fighter. She's more decorated. And so they would have been like, we don't think Alycia Baumgardner has anything for Carissa Shields. She gasses out at the end of her fights, so we don't think she has anything for Carissa Shields. But Amanda Serrano has a big following, and Amanda Serrano has been fighting for a long time, and she's highly decorated as well. So I think that fight she should have pushed for, because it would have been a more meaningful fight, and it would have brought a lot of eyes to Alycia Baumgardner as well as to the women's sport.
Yeah,
Because I
I
was
agree.
trying to figure out, it was suicidal to me, right? And I'm looking at Alycia and I'm looking at Carissa, and I'm like, okay. Now, usually we'll see this in men's boxing, and even in men's boxing, it's a bad idea when somebody's trying to move up. To them, you can only go up so damn much before you got to realize that you're not going to win. So when I looked at what she was doing, I'm like, is she trying to gain not just some new fans for her, but to try to get people to watch women's boxing more? Because there's still some people out there that's not believers that still be like, man, I don't watch women. I don't watch them. They boring. Starting a new series tonight on my channel called Tales of the B-Side. Oh, okay, Connell. What time? What time? I'll definitely tune in for that. I like that too. Tales of from the B-Side. Damn, that's unique, man. I like that.
Yeah. I heard Thomas talking about it on our live earlier, but I didn't.
7:30? Got you.
7:30, yeah. Okay, yeah. Thomas talked about it earlier on his live when we was doing with Ishay Smith, and Ishay said he wants to be part of it. So
That's
it,
crazy though. Tales
that's a good
from
idea.
the B-Side.
Yeah, from the B side. Wow.
That's crazy. That's wow. Wow. Yeah, but when I was looking at Alicia do that, and I was like, okay, Carissa's not gonna fall for this, right? We're not gonna entertain this, right? We're not gonna see. Don't get me wrong, Free. If they would have made this happen, I don't know what I would have thought about it, because I'm looking at it like, man, you're gonna get your ass. I love Alicia. I love you. In
I
case
mean,
somebody says this to you, I love
yeah,
you, girl. But no,
yeah.
no.
I think a lot of people would have watched it, especially from the African American side, because
Yes.
we follow both these women, and I
Right.
think I think we would have watched it, and we would have loved the outcome. But I believe majority, I would say probably somewhere between 70 and 80% would say Carissa Shields, if not greater than that. Carissa Shields is going to win that fight. I mean, there's
Oh,
very
come
few
on
that.
now, BBO. Stop it, BBO. Stop it, BBO.
No,
Don't do that.
no. Matter of fact, I mean, no. When was the last time Alycia Baumgardner stopped somebody?
I wait.
Um, what was that? What was that fight before she fought Michaela Mayer? It was a
I'm
fight
not. I'm
before
not.
she
I'm
fought.
not. I'm not. I'm not counting. I'm not counting girls that didn't belong in the ring with Alycia Baumgardner. I'm talking about actual quality opponents. I'm talking about
You're
quality
free. You ain't
opponents.
shit.
Like
You ain't
that
shit.
girl. Nobody knew who that girl was, and they was fighting in a barn. They was fighting in a barn. That tells you what and all you need to know about the fight. Tells you all you need to know about the fight. So, like I said, out of quality opponents, when was the last time Alycia Baumgardner stopped a quality opponent?
No, I can't. No, I can't say.
Can't say no. Been a while.
I can't say. I can't say it. Besides that girl, I can't. Which we're not counting her. So before that, I can't say. Nope. I
I mean,
can't
that's
say.
like. I mean, I hate to bring his name up, but that's like talking about Tio. Tio hasn't knocked nobody out since Richard Comey. Now, if you want to count Campus when he got to 140, Campus wasn't no quality opponent. But if you want to count him, okay, you could count him. But as far as quality opponent, they're going Richard Comey, and I don't even think Richard Comey was that much of a quality opponent. That was the last person Tio knocked out.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I remember.
it's the same thing we're talking about Alycia Baumgardner. She hasn't knocked out a quality opponent in a long time now. It doesn't take anything away from Alycia Baumgardner. She still wins the fight. But BBO told me she's going to stop Carissa Shields. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, that's no.
That's a big task.
That would have been like watching Mikey Garcia stop Earl Spence. We knew that wasn't going to happen. You see how that turned out for old Mikey.
I mean,
Mikey ain't been the same. Mikey haven't been the same since.
That's like saying Devin Haney's going to go out here and stop somebody. He hasn't stopped anybody in a long time.
Sometimes I think we're so high on these fighters that we just think that they're just, hey man, my guy can stop your guy. BVO in love. That's all. Yeah, that's it. He loves Alycia.
I have no problem with BBO believing that Alycia's going to win. Yeah, you can have that take, but to say that she's going to stop Carissa Shields,
to stop her.
That's
like a stretch.
They might stop at the store together and get something, but that's the only stop that's going to happen.
I put it this way: if that fight was to ever be made, you will become an overnight millionaire if you bet money on Alycia Baumgardner stopping Carissa Shields and it actually happened, because that's how wide the margin is going to be for a knockout. You will become.
You know what the problem is with that? The weight. The problem is the weight. I can't see Alycia putting on all that weight, and you know damn well Carissa Shields ain't about to look. She's not about to walk around here looking like Skeletor just because y'all want to see her that. She ain't about to do that.
No,
she's not about to do that.
See what I'm saying? The BBO just said it. He thinks Tio is going to stop Boots. Like I said, when the last time Tio stopped a quality opponent? And like I said, I don't believe Richard Comey is that good of a fighter. I don't believe Richard Comey is that good of a fighter, but he was a champion, so I give him that. But that was how long ago? That was back in 2019, 2020.
I didn't know they were talking about entertaining that fight until Eddie Hearn said it at the press conference. Somebody was talking to him, and he was like, "Yo, we're gonna be meeting up for the Theo versus Booth. They're gonna be in talks." I'm like, "What the?" I said, "Oh, here boxing go. Here we go. Here we go with this."
That man. Last time he stopped a quality opponent, and like I said, I don't think Richard Comey is that good, was like 6 years ago, like 2019.
The last 19, yeah, it was 2019.
A quality opponent.
I have a feeling, gentlemen, that the closer we get to this fight week, Alycia is going to be in the building. A lot of the women are going to probably come who are not on this card. That's going to pop up. But I have a strong feeling that Miss Alycia Baumgardner and Carissa are going to run into each other, and it's going to be some words. Because I don't think it's over.
I mean, it's
I don't
always
think it's
some
over.
words. It's always some words when it comes to Alycia and
Yeah.
Carissa when they get around each other. There's always some words.
Only if Alycia was only like 2, 3 inches taller, I'd have said, this is interesting.
I mean,
Make the fight.
I don't have no problem with the words between the two because
Nah, I don't either.
Carissa's at the mountaintop. Alycia supposed to be gunning for the king of the mountain. I mean,
Yes.
that's what happened. When you're at the king of the mountain, you're gonna have every and anybody coming at you because you are the king of the mountain.
But
Everybody's
you
gonna
look,
have your name in their mouth. Everybody's gonna have your name in their mouth
but,
because you're the
but
king of the mountain.
I think she's
Yeah.
just fishing in the. I think she's just fishing in the wrong lake. That's a that's a it's
I
a
mean,
wrong lake.
my whole thing is, I mean, for fighters to say they want certain fighters and they are 2 or 3 weight classes above them, I don't think you should call them out per se. Now you can say
Yeah.
at some point I want to fight them, but my whole thing is put yourself in position to fight them. Now, Bud, he's at the end of his career. He's about to retire, so he's trying to get the biggest bag before he walks
Yeah.
out the door. So
No doubt.
I understand what Bud is doing, but for the most part, if you want somebody that's 2 or 3 weight classes, well, put yourself in position to fight that person. Don't just say, "Oh, I can beat him and I can beat him," and you 2, 3 weight classes below, and then you say, "Let's meet at a catchweight." No, nigga, you told me you could beat me. That means you can come up to my weight class and beat me.
Right.
Why do I
Do
gotta come
you
down to you?
do you remember when they were talking to Bob Arum
Fight me.
about the Mikey and Earl, and I remember a reporter said something about Bob. You said you didn't think that this fight would happen. Bob responded, "Yeah, because I didn't think Mikey Garcia was dumb enough to take it." I didn't think he was dumb enough to take it, which means is out of all people in the division, you go after Earl. And you know, at this time, Earl is on fire, smoking everything that's coming his way. You pick on Earl? You understand what I'm saying? That's why, and that kind of reminds me, and I hate to make a comparison, it's bad. When I think about this T.O. and Boots, I'm like, yeah, all right, well, I mean, oh man, this shit, it's gonna be entertaining though. The press conference is gonna be entertaining. T.O. father likes to talk shit. We all know that Bozy, he gonna talk his shit. The fighters are gonna talk their shit. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny, man. It's gonna be real funny. We're gonna see what happens in the long while. But
I know what I got happening, and I'm betting on it. I'm betting on the 7th round. I'm betting on the 7th round stoppage by
do you think?
Jerome
Don't you
Bruce Ennis.
do you think that you're being a little too nice, Free? You said
Huh?
7th round. I think you might be being a little too nice.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. Because T.O. is going to move around a lot. He's going to move around a lot. And
Oh, so what you? Oh, yeah, yeah.
Jerron don't really start stepping on the gas until his opponent wants to actually trade with him. And see, this is what I was trying to tell BBO. T.O. has a 68-inch arm reach. Jerron
Yeah.
Busquets has a 74-inch arm reach. That's a 6-inch arm reach difference. Jerron
Yeah.
Busquets can literally stand right in front of T.O. and hit T.O. and T.O. can't touch him. Literally. You can stand right in front of him and hit him with the jab the entire night, and T.O. can't touch him. So T.O. is going to have to come in. And when he comes in, he's going to take punches. He's going to take a lot of punches. And so I just find it a very steep hill to climb for T.O. with a guy like Jerron Ennis. Now, Jerron Ennis was a Mario Barrio or somebody like that. I would say, okay, yeah, T.O. he could possibly land a big shot and maybe rock Jerron Ennis, but Jerron Ennis is not Mario Barrio. And the thing is, what Jerron Ennis does that T.O. has never faced anybody that does, Jerron Ennis could go from southpaw to orthodox at any given second.
Can you give me a second? Right.
One punches when the punches are normally coming from this direction, now all of a sudden they're coming from this direction. Now you gotta be willing to make an adjustment on the fly in a split of a second. So that's the part that T.O. is not taken into consideration because it ain't that many people that switch hit like Jerron Ennis. There's a couple of guys, but far as fluid as Jerron Ennis does it, there ain't that many people that does it that well.
That's true.
There's probably a couple of guys out there that we don't really know about like that, but it ain't that many at that level.
Yeah. We're gonna have the next 2 months is gonna be very interesting because when they finally make this announcement, which they seem to be serious about it, damn man, this is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be crazy. I know 9 times out of 10 the fight is probably not going to be in America, so we can get prepared for that. That fight may be in Saudi, which is crazy. I think it should be here. That's just my opinion.
It's gonna be a Saudi. It's gonna be if Turkey's making it, it's gonna be a Saudi.
What y'all think for Jerron and T.O. will probably be their first time even going out that far. I don't think any of them even been out that far.
I'm just hoping. I mean, I'm not even expecting it to be in America. I'm just hoping that it's on the zone and it's not a pay-per-view. Because if it's a pay-per-view, I'm not paying for it. I'm not putting no money in T.O. I want to support Jerron, but if they make it a pay-per-view, I'm not paying for it. I'm not putting no money in T.O.'s pocket. I can't do it. My morals won't let me do it. My morals won't let me do it.
Yeah, well, I told people this.
I'm saying it would have been a main event. It would have been different.
As much as people despise him because of the racial comments and all that, I look at it like this. It doesn't matter what platform is on. I mean, shit. Ain't nobody got to support him. Don't pay for it, period. Or it don't matter what is on. If people who keep like, hey, he's a racist, I'm tired of this guy. So, like I said, I mentioned last week, I think it was Underrated, if I'm not mistaken. I said, hell, you ain't got to keep talking about the guy. Don't support him. That's all. Shit, I ain't got to pay for it.
If you want to support
but there's some people who gonna want to pay for it just because they gonna want to see Boots beat his ass. But like D3 said, yeah, I don't know about that. D3 just gave me something to think about now, because
because you gotta think about the morals and stuff. Because that's what I would call him telefucko. Because I don't like him.
And then when you look at the cards, right? And cards always matter, right? Because you can't just pay for a pay-per-view to just see one fight, right? So now the question always becomes the most famous question is, what's the undercards looking like? Because you're not paying $75, $80, $100 just to fight and be like, I only paid for this one fight. No, because you still got other fights you got to go through. So the thing is, they make this card D3. And I know y'all like, I thought we was talking about Alycia. Don't worry, we going back to that. Relax. We're going to go back to that, ladies and gentlemen. I want to ask you in D3, though, right? Underrated? If there is, so they make this Boots and T.O., right? I want both of y'all to tell me who would y'all like to see on the undercard. Do y'all want something like the Times Square, something like that? Like, who would y'all want to see on the card?
I don't want to see no Times Square because I want to
No. I'm not saying seeing it in Times Square. Do you want them to do it like that, where it's quality versus quality? Who would you want to see on the Boots versus T.O. card?
It's hard to say because it's Turkey, so that means Turkey will have to go get some people from other promotional company. So it's hard to say.
Well, no. Who would you want to? But who would you want to see if you had one fight besides that? Who would you want to see, Free?
I'm trying to think of the people that deals with Turkey, and for me to say that.
Well, Jared Anderson deals with him, don't he? Big Baby deals with him. Jared Anderson deals with him, right?
But that was against Bob's will. That was against Bob's will. I'm talking about people that is literally working with Turkey. That was against what Bob wanted him to do. Because you got to remember, he got to get these guys from other promotional companies. He don't have fighters signed to him.
Well,
So the only people I think
Raymond Ford deals with him a lot. The Savage, he deals with him.
I don't care to see Raymond Ford.
You
Raymond
know
Ford,
what? You know what?
Raymond Ford.
You
No, Raymond Ford never done anything for me as far as a fight. I've seen Raymond Ford fight, and there's nothing special about him. He never done anything. I mean, the man got beat by a guy that was 5 foot. He got beat by a guy that was 5 foot. I mean, and the dude is not a knockout artist. He got beat by a guy that's 5 foot, not a knockout artist. Nick Ball is a hell of a fighter, but Nick Ball is not special. Nick Ball ain't special. I thought Raymond Ford was
Yeah.
going to beat him, and I saw what I saw out of what's your boy name? Conwell. I saw
Oh,
Raymond
Charles
Ford was
Conwell.
and Raymond Ford is on the same level as Charles Conwell. I mean, ain't nothing special about him. So I don't care to see Raymond Ford. I would rather see now if you want to put Raymond Ford on there, I would like to see who's the better guy between Raymond Ford and Kid Austin. Who's the better one? Because they're about even. They're almost the same type of fighter. So who's better between those two?
So it's like 1A, 1B. Who to pick?
I didn't think of that. Free.
They're almost the same type of fighter. So who's better between them two? If you want to put Raymond Ford on there, Kid Austin is working with Golden Boy. So you got Eddie Hearn versus Golden Boy, and you could put Kid Austin versus Raymond Ford. But it's not a fight that I say I want to see. It's not a fight that I said I want to see. I wouldn't mind watching it, but that's not a fight that I'm dying to see. But I would say if somehow he can get him, I would want to see Andy Cruz and Keyshawn.
How dare you, sir?
That's disrespectful, D3.
How dare you, sir?
If
Now
he
you
can get
apologize.
if he can
You
get if he
apologize.
can get Keyshawn over there, if he can get Keyshawn over there, I would want to see Keyshawn versus Andy Cruz on the undercard. If he can get Keyshawn over there, I don't think he can get Keyshawn over there because Keyshawn has a belt now, so I don't think Bob is giving him up.
Yeah. When I talked to him on Times Square, I said, man, he like, man, I'm gonna get on one of these. You know, as long as he around, man, they're gonna chase it. They're gonna try to. As long as Turkey around, these dudes out here, these dudes are going against their promoters. And I don't care
Well,
what you say. I'm going to give me
time
a bag of turkey.
time is ticking. Time is ticking.
Someone in here saying Boots is shook. Of who? Oh, that's BBO source.
No, he talking about Brian Norman had Jerron Boots in his shook. Brian Norman is the
Hold,
one
y'all
that
go
went to
ahead and talk
Japan.
for a second.
No, that nigga Brian Norman was so shook. This man left the country. He went to Japan to fight. He said, I'm not gonna fight him in Philly, but you're gonna go to Japan and fight somebody who is not a champion. You're gonna go fight a guy in a whole nother country that's not a champion, but you're not willing to go fight a unified champion in his own backyard. But you're gonna go fight this guy over here in his backyard, a whole nother country, because you know you can beat him. You're not sure that you can beat Jerron Ennis. And they gave him the same amount of money that Jerron gave him. According to what I heard he got 1.7. That's what Jerron offered him. Not only did he offer you 1.7, but he offered you a belt as well. And it would have been a better fight to fight Jerron Ennis.
But he didn't want to.
But according to BBO, Jerron was shook. Even though that had nothing to do with Jerron. That was all Eddie Hearn.
That's what BBO said.
I mean, I like Brian Norman. I like Brian Norman, and I give him a shot. He has a chance to beat Jerron Ennis if he lands a big shot. He has a chance to beat Jerron Ennis. Do I think he will? Nah. Nah. I don't think he will. I mean, like I said, he has a shot. I just don't think that he will beat Jerron Ennis. I've seen Jerron Ennis get hit, and Jerron Ennis look like he has a bit. Now, granted, these guys might not have the same power as a Brian Norman. I don't know. I haven't been hit by neither one of them to say if that person hit harder than Brian Norman or Brian Norman hits harder. But I don't know. I don't
Hey,
know.
Sauce, you got the link, I think, Sauce, if you want to come up. I sent it to you anyway, so um yeah, we'll see though. It's gonna be a great one though, man. I'm waiting for them to do a 5-on-5. Turkey need to get some of these ladies involved. They need to make them a bag. I'm ready to see a 5-on-5 with the ladies, but then it's kind of hard to do that because there ain't too many other promotional companies that got ladies. So then I start looking at Golden Boy, and then I start looking at Eddie. I think
That makes a lot.
Golden Boy got a few ladies, don't they?
No,
They don't.
no, not that I know of. They might have some on the lower end, but far as name fighters, not that I know of. I don't know any females.
No.
Okay, yeah.
They might be on the lower end, like a bunch of fighters that we don't know about. But
See the
far as
YouTube.
name females, I can't think of one. I can't think of one. Gabrielle Fendora, she signs with, I think she signed with Matchroom, if I'm not mistaken. I think Gabrielle
Old
signed with
Gabrielle.
Matchroom. And
Old
because I was trying to figure that out because Sebastian is signed to PBC, but I think Gabrielle is signed to Matchroom, or she might be signed to ESPN. It was one of the two. It was either Matchroom or ESPN, but she wasn't signed to PBC. It was either ESPN or Matchroom, but I know she wasn't signed to Golden Boy. Oh, Sampson. That's the manager though. He's not a promotional company. That's our manager. And Sampson got PBC fighters too. Yeah, I'm trying to remember who she was signed to. I know that's her manager though. I do know that that's her manager, but I'm trying to figure out who she was signed to, as far as a promotional company. But I know for a fact it wasn't PBC because the car that she was on, it wasn't a PBC car, and I don't know of any females that PBC have. I don't know of any. I don't even think they have any PBC. I mean, any female fighters. Um, But it should be easy for Turkey to do a 5-on-5 because, like you said, majority of the female fighters are signed to Matchroom. You have a couple of them that signed over to Queensbury, and you have some that signed to Top Rank, and then some that signed to MVP. So it should be fairly easy for him to do a 5-on-5 between Matchroom and Queensbury. He might can even do
Um,
a matchroom versus Top Rank. It should be fairly easy for him to do it because those are the promotion companies that
yeah,
have most of the women. Top Rank, Matchroom, and Queensbury. They have most of the female fighters.
yeah, it would be good to see it. I don't know. Can you hear me? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, hold on, cause something my joint is tripping. All right, yeah. I just gotta get somebody else. All right, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yo,
Let me get my brother Underrated back on. I apologize. My joint keep talking about the like it be crazy like when they be talking about your what you call it is not responding. I'm like, yo, I go to bring you in and then they go do some bozo shit. D Free will be back hopefully. D Free, come on back. Boxer Sauce, what's up, brother?
Yo, what's happening? Yo, I was just about to jump on and tell him that Samson Lukowicz is a promoter. He's not a manager. He's a promoter. He promotes a number of fighters.
Yeah, yeah. Sims has been doing it for
He's been doing it for a decade.
he's been doing it for some time now. I remember being in high school and seeing him. He's been around for some time now. So we were talking about Alycia Baumgardner, Source. Her getting ready to make a return July 11th. Give me your thoughts on Alycia Baumgardner and what do you think about her and her potentials as a fighter?
I mean, she has good skills as a fighter. What I'm trying to see from her is her overall marketability. I think that was part of why MVP signed her.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So I mean, she's she's been under like Matchroom and other promotional companies, but hadn't necessarily gained traction like that. You know what I mean? To have fights over on this side, like she's had what a few fights here. Her last few fights were here in the States. One in New York, one in Atlanta and Detroit. So now she's part of this big fight card, and that's going to be a co-feature bout. That's pretty much. I think that's kind of part of the deal that they made with her signing on, is that she would be in a co-feature for Taylor versus Serrano 3. So now it's more about seeing how they're going to maneuver her to get big fights, whether it's in the super featherweight division or maybe she'll move up to lightweight and compete in the lightweight division after this.
yeah. Because I was telling D Free, right? I said when he was telling me the amount of women that was in professional boxing, and or I think he was saying that the division that there's not that many. So sometimes you have choices, but then you want that big fight that either it brings you new fans or it brings the non-believers who still say to this day, I don't watch female boxing. When she was going back and forth with Carissa Shields, I was telling people, I don't think it was just about a bag. It was if I do this or if I start up some type of confusion between me and her, I'm not just bringing new fans in, but I'm getting more people who are going to watch this fight, even if it's their first time seeing me or her or watching females boxing, period. Um, in that situation, what do you think she was doing it for besides the money? Was it anything that I just said, or she just had a real issue with her?
Well, I think it's more about. Well, yeah, she likely does have a real issue with Clarissa Shields, but yeah, there was like no way, no how, no chance that they were going to fight each other. Be in the ring with each other. You're not gonna have Alycia, there, with her being at what 5'6" and really being above super
Yeah,
featherweight, trying to get all the way up to 154. That's not gonna happen.
yeah,
So here on this front, as you were mentioning, like in a lot of these divisions, there isn't a lot of competition out there, particularly from the U.S. side. Um, if you go down in the divisions where Alycia is at, with Clarissa, it was different because a lot of the fighters that were in her class are around her weight class. Like we talk about Franchon Cruz or who is it? Like Shadeja Green,
yeah,
and like a few others. They're all there like from the American team alone. That's pretty much like in her weight class. But with like Alycia Baumgardner, you don't really see much of that.
yeah, yeah. It was kind of entertaining for a while, and we almost went for it. And I'm like, no, we can't. This is not what we're doing, and it would have just been all bad. But for some people who don't know about boxing or don't know about weight classes, they would have thought that this was acceptable. Like If they want to fight, let them fight. And for us that understand that we know it doesn't really make any sense, and we're like, no, man, this can go all bad. I mean, what brownie points would Carissa get for beating her?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
none.
saying? None. But if Alycia was to go in there and do something unbelievable, now it's like, oh my God. So sometimes certain fights should just stay an idea. You know, it'd be like, yeah, that was a great idea, but we're not going to make that happen.
Yeah,
Um,
not gonna make that happen. One iota.
yeah, we're not gonna. But do you know anything about her opponent for the 11th of July?
Oh, a reference to who she's facing there in
Yes.
Miranda. I mean,
Yes.
they're undefeated, but she's from like Spain, so all of her fights were over in Spain. So it's more of like, they're sending her over from Spain to have this fight, and it's looking like a lot of those opponents that she's had is like local opponents. So, and only, well, okay, about a few 10 rounders. She's had a few 10 rounders. Um, Only one stoppage win in 12 fights. So, but that kind of like goes into the whole thing about the level of depth in these divisions. Like Miranda is 38 there, and is like for box rec is ranked at number 3 in the division. So yeah,
Yeah.
that tells you a lot.
Yeah, that's because I had never up until that time I had never heard of her. So I'm like, okay, did they just go find somebody for her to keep busy? Because you got to keep busy. Not a lot of people don't realize that every fight you get is not going to be a big fight, right?
Yeah.
Um, and Alycia almost was facing a point where it looked like she was never going to get back to where she needed to be. When she was accused of what she was accused of. So
Right. Yeah.
it looked like she wasn't going to get back to where she needed to be, which I felt like it wasn't fair because there's no way in hell you're going to try to push her out the way, but then turn around and give people like Dillian White, you keep giving him a chance to come back,
Yeah. A number
introduce.
like it, or like a Oscar Valdez or something like that.
Yeah, you're not. You give. We've seen this go through with Canelo, and how many times have you gave him opportunities to come back? So that's why when people were doing what they were doing with her, I'm like, nah, we're not going to do that because there's people who have done worse. We've heard people say, "Hey, I had cheated. I had a bad piece of steak. I rubbed something on my hands that I was going to put on my dog, and something got in my system." We have
Yeah.
heard some most ridiculous excuses that you would hear maybe an eighth grader would make up.
Mm-hmm.
So, when they were doing that with her, I'm like, well, we're not going to put our foot on her neck like that. We're not going to do that because we're not going to act like she's the first person to ever, you know what I mean? We're just not going to do that. It has nothing to do with just sticking up for her because she's a female. Right is right and wrong is wrong. If you're a female and you're cheating, you're going to get the same criticism. I don't care if you're white, black, whatever your nationality is. You're going to get, we're gonna, even if we're fans of you, we still have to tell you when you're wrong.
Yeah.
I always tell you, there's too many people that's not doing that. They're just D-riding because, oh, it's my favorite fighter. And, we don't do that, over here. But, so yeah, I'm seeing this opponent for July and I'm like, okay, who is she? And now that you have confirmed that she's not even from here, she's from one of the foreign countries. Even when they're coming from Spain, UK, wherever it is that they're coming from, these overseas fighters are dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
They're dangerous. And because we don't know much about them, we're assumed that this should be a walk in the park, right? This should be, but keep in mind, is this girl not undefeated? So that says a lot. And people can go, well, yeah, but you don't know who she fought. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. She's undefeated, and she's making her pro debut. I mean, not pro debut, but she's making her debut to America,
Yep.
which it's a great thing to see that. So a lot of people go, well, I don't know. Y'all be focusing on the wrong thing. I don't know nothing about her opponent. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. This whole card for July 11th is fire. We not only one of the baddest trilogies in probably trilogy history, man or woman, which we haven't really seen too many trilogies with women, for what I know. I might have to do my research.
Yeah, they
But
were
for what I
saying that
know,
this may be the first one.
yes, right? So now you take that, Source. Underrated, you still there? You take that,
Yeah,
right?
I'm here.
So you take that, right? You put that with Savannah Marshall versus Sadasia Green.
Yep.
I mean, damn it, Sauce. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be a banger. That one,
Yes, it is.
I gotta see what Shadace is gonna do because my folks that been around like Shadasia Green since she was out there in the amateurs is like she need to be in a whole nother camp or something to get a prep because she should be like really running through a lot of the opponents that she's had. Like she was when she was like starting off in the pros, like what I was saying was, or what I was told was, she was going to be the one that was gonna be the challenger for Clarissa Shields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be real, like I didn't expect what happened with her against Franchon. Franchon just outboxed her from round 1 to round 10. And then
Yeah.
she came back from that and then had the bout there that was on the Jake Paul Mike Tyson card and got the win for that belt. But it kind of seemed pretty interesting how that turned out. So we're gonna see like how this one is gonna be because it's really really really, I think, to be honest, I think that should be on the main joint. I don't see why it's not.
Yeah.
Or at least for now, I don't.
Yeah. I never understood why it wasn't but things happen. But I look at this card. See, I was already excited about the card. Well, not excited, but I was happy to hear. And then when they signed Alycia, I was very happy. And let's be real, we have to start giving Jake Paul a little more of his flowers. We don't have to like him as far as a fighter or his choice of opponents. But god damn it, if he's not looking out for these women,
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's putting them in great positions where they're able to feed their families. Let's keep it real, man, right? This is why when I hear these dudes say I don't watch women's basketball, or I don't watch women's boxing, I go, let me tell you something. Half of these women play better than your favorite NBA player, and they fight better than your favorite male fighter.
But you know what's so sad about this, and I want our brother on Boxer Source to say this. We have promotion companies throughout the years, and you have Jay Paul just come from nowhere and see for what it is, and giving women boxing opportunities while y'all can do it. So we have to understand this and that. I'm just saying, what me outside looking in, y'all could have done the same thing. Y'all refused to do that.
Yeah.
they just didn't see it as a long-term investment. We've had a lot of these fighters be under these promotional companies, but they just didn't stick with them. Before Clarissa signed with Salida, like she was bouncing around with a few other promotional companies.
Yeah.
You got to think there with Lou DiBella, that's had a few fighters under his belt. So they didn't necessarily think that it could really spark up. And it's crazy because from the past 5 or so years, women's boxing has really like risen in popularity, not just because of the name fighters, but because of the actual fights that they have. So, I just don't see like how someone like a Jake Paul could go in and just basically take over that part of the market.
Right. You understand what I'm saying?
Once and be honest with you, when you got money, they say money is the root of all evil, and I go, well, shit, I don't know. But it seemed like when you got that, because that's all the world feeds off, money. Rather if it's the United States or if it's Saudi, if it's UK, if it's Puerto Rico, that's what the money. The people get full off this world, off money. I always say, and this is gonna probably sound crazy, but I've been saying it for about 2 years now, that if America boxing would have been doing what they were supposed to do, it would have never been enough room for Jake or Saudi or Turkey to walk in. But thank God for Jake, for the simple fact is, who knows what these women would have been making today if he had not came. Had he not decided to give them a shot and an opportunity, it's no telling. And I'm sure there's a few more women out there that's why this was a great move for Alycia.
Yeah.
It was a great move financially too. You know what I mean? Even when I saw Amanda getting what she needed, it was beautiful. And now you're
Right.
seeing you're seeing Savannah Marshall, you're seeing Shadeja Green, you're seeing all these women. And this is one card. We're not talking about separate dates. We're talking about one card.
And
One card.
Yeah, one card. And they still haven't announced the rest of the card yet.
Man, look. When I heard they put Savannah Marshall versus Shadeja Green, I said, Jesus Christ. What are you trying to prove, Jake? What are you trying to prove? I said, man, that's not even a whole card. So
Yeah.
I'm afraid that we're going to hear about 2 more fights on there that we didn't see coming.
Well, yeah, there's going to be 2 more fights. Hold on. Let me. Yeah, I was pulling up the thing. What they got? Yeah, 5. So yeah, they have that one, and then there's going to be 2 more fights, and one of them may end up being another world title fight.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I've been hounding and hunting Magna Media down, Sauce. I've been hunting them down for this one because I said, y'all didn't even give me it to go to the Garden. That's crazy. I am going. I said, when they do the media workout and all that, I'm hunting them down.
I'll put it this way. If one of these fights ends up being solidified and signed, then I might end up speaking with one of those fighters. Might.
Oh, which ones you talking about?
I can't tell you. Not right now.
Oh. Okay, yeah, all right. I got you. Oh yeah, I got it, man. I would love to get one of the ladies on, man.
Yeah, so yeah.
I want to shoot for Shadeja. That's what I want to shoot for because I'm already Instagram friends with her. I like to shoot for her, man. I'm gonna shoot for one of them, man. I would love to get Alycia on here if I could.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get somebody up here.
You'll try to get Shadeja.
Yeah, Shadeja's cool because she used to come to my Instagram and be in the comments. Yeah. She's cool. I'm even working on maybe Amanda, man. Because she's right up here in New York. She trains at the gym in Brooklyn, which when you come up here, Sauce, you gotta stop at this gym in Brooklyn. Shout out to Green Fitness Studio. One of the most dopest gyms to attend to, man. It's a great gym where she's there from time to time. When she's in New York, it's beautiful, man. It's a beautiful place to go, man. I'm telling you, but
yeah, hopefully I get up there for like a weekend or something. But nowadays, man, these prices.
Man, look, let me tell you something. This is the reason why what we do right here when we sitting here on here. I always tell people we gotta profit something from this because if we gonna be doing this and we love it, it costs for us to travel.
Yeah, man.
It costs to travel, bro. Like it ain't
Exactly.
just. It's not even just a New York thing now. Now it's like
Right.
everywhere they want to get pricey.
Yep.
So that's why we need these people that's handing these credentials. We need y'all to help us out because a lot of us, well, we're gonna make money off this. We love what we do, but we want to make money off it because at the end of the day, man, it costs to go to these places, man. I'm in New York and it still will cost me to get to Times Square. It won't cost me a lot, but if I want to get on a Uber or Lyft, man, they gonna charge me 30 or $40, maybe more than that. So it just costs, man. It's a lot, man. So we need them to understand that. Hey, work with us because it's a lot. I heard that Caleb Plant, well, not him. What's the kid that Jamal Charlo was fighting? He's from Jersey. I
Yeah,
just read
yeah.
that they were doing a
I'm on the
media workout with
Jersey.
him in Jersey.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Wednesday.
And I'm like, I don't even know what part of Jersey that is. I would go, but I never put in my credentials, so it's too late for that.
Nah, you don't need to. Wait, hold on. Let me see
I
that.
was gonna go just for the media workout, but then I'm like, I don't have no issue with PBC. They always
Nah,
look out for me.
nah, you don't need to like apply for that.
Okay. I don't know how they gonna do when you get there because some people when they hear New York is great, but there it's like I don't know how other places will do. Um, I don't even know what part of Jersey that is. Do you know, Source? Because I'm not
Man,
familiar with it.
nah, I have no idea what that that city is, man.
That sound like
But do you know what town it's in?
what's it? What they let media? Because that's the only reason why I said that. So because it said media, it said a time and all that. So I'm like, damn, do my name gotta? And usually when I go on there, a name is not on there. So
Oh,
I,
it's over. It's southeast of Philadelphia. That's where it's at.
oh nah, they can have that.
Oh, it's in Philadelphia?
It's
It's
southeast of Philadelphia, where the city is. It's in Jersey, but like it's kind of like that
Oh,
as
I know what
the
you're
metro
talking
area.
about.
You know what I
I know
mean?
what you're talking about. It's near that bridge.
Yeah.
Won't Women Bridge. I know exactly what you're talking about.
so. How long would it take? I wonder how long would it take to get to where I'm. Nah, I can't do it. I usually, I don't know, man. Yeah, I ain't gonna do it. I'm
And
not gonna do it.
I don't think New Jersey Transit travel that far out there. I don't think.
Nah, that sound like some shit that you gotta have to catch Greyhound or something. I ain't with it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not with it. Nah, you might have to catch some special type of bus there.
Yeah.
That's like South Jersey. That's like around like Cherry Hill stuff like that.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. It's exactly where around that area, Cherry Hill. Yep.
Cherry Hill, yup. That's yeah.
Yeah, they can have it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't.
yeah. There's I don't think there's any. I don't think there's no. You gotta take a bus, I think.
Yeah, I'm not gonna attempt to do it. Not just for no media workout. Nah, not for a media workout. I am. Nah, I'm not doing that. I can. I'm still waiting on Hitchens and George Cambosis. I put in for that.
Yeah.
You coming for that Source or
Nah,
you relaxing?
nah, like that, because the weekend before I'm at Keyshawn joint,
Where Keyshawn fighting at?
Norfolk.
He fighting
Oh,
VA.
VA? Oh, girl. Okay. I'm trying to get out there.
Yo, Underrated, I told you, man. You got your YouTube channel, man. Start putting in for those credentials, man. Try it out. You just gotta you have to make more boxing content. That's all. But try it out. You know, it gets discouraging sometimes because you don't, you be like, I'm not gonna keep putting it in. But see me, I start emailing these people, I start texting them, I be on them, Source.
Yeah.
I'll be like, yo, man, did you happen to just walk past my application? Did you just walk past my application? Did you just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I've been missing. I ain't been to nothing since William Skull and Canelo. Like, damn it. I'm looking like, what do I have to do? But I know what I had to do. I had to do more boxing content. And it's not that I haven't been doing it, but I was like, okay, you know what? Let me start making more content about it. And what I do is I make it and then I'll send it. Like this one we doing right here. I just took it and sent it to Magna Media credentials. I just sent it to their email because you know how they always say, you know how they always saying send us a letter or something or video of what it is that you do. And I can't get nobody to send no letter because I don't work for nobody. Like I got, I don't need to write a letter. I'll just send you some videos. So every time I go live, source, that's what I do. I send it to Magna Media. And if it's something involving with Anthony Lever, then I'll send it to him.
Yeah, yeah, I gotta send them something, but it's outside of that though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that's the thing. We have to stay on top of it because the thing is, they're not always easy to reach. We think because we have their emails and their phone numbers, they'd be easy to reach, but that's not the case all the time.
No,
No.
It's not the case, and you get frustrated. But I'm telling you, it'd be all worth it at the end. Me and Sauceton been in some memorable. We've been in some memorable press conferences. I remember, hey, Sauce, you remember being there for Lamar Roach and Tank?
yeah, yep.
Boy, if me and
I was gonna
Sauce,
say that. I was
me and
gonna say
Sauce,
that Paul versus Tyson one.
yeah. But when we was waiting for Tank to come, I almost went to damn sleep. I said, "Yo, he ain't never coming." I said he's never coming. We're gonna be here waiting all day. And then he showed up,
Yeah, he showed up. I was about to leave.
but that showed you how dedicated we were. This is why I'm like, they don't understand the stuff we go through because we sit here and we put in time, and all of us can go home. So when we're sitting around as media, um, if we're waiting that long, that says a lot about us. It says a lot about us because we can easily just be like, the hell with this. I'm out of here. And sometimes they need to be reminded of that we work very hard at what we do and what we do as media people. It is not easy, not by a long shot. It's not easy. You know, putting in for these credentials and all, and then you praying and keeping your fingers crossed that I'm hoping I get picked. Because that's what it becomes. It becomes I hope I get picked. And sometimes it's just not going to go the way you think it's going to go. But the thing is, you can't give up. You got to keep going. You know what I mean? And that's just some encouraging words for anybody who's just walking in. That don't give up. Keep making it happen. And even though it's easier said than done, keep on doing what you do. But this year, there's so much going on up north in New York with boxing that it's just going to be crazy. I'm still thinking about the July 12th, and I was mad that I didn't get a credential for that one. I woke up Monday morning, Source, I was like, what do you mean they said no? I'm like, what? Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah, and well, that one. I mean, they moved the location of where the press conference was going to be, and then putting it at the spot where it was at. I'm like, there isn't that many people that could be there. So
Yeah.
and there weren't that many people there to begin with. So I'm like, it's like whatever. But I mean, we'll see how they handle this for the July 12th, because that I don't think if it's handled by anything from Ring Magazine, I'm not all too optimistic that I will be approved for it. But in the meantime, though, I'll see about speaking with some of the fighters that are involved in that card. But
Um, well, you know what? I'm gonna make myself seeable because I'm like, look, we're as media, we're not going nowhere. So at some point, you're going to have to acknowledge me. I'm not going anywhere, and I say it's not ESPN that's reporting this. It's nobody else reporting this but us. So I look at it like, okay, that's why I'm staying on top of it now because I'm like, I'm DMing people, I'm hitting people in the email because then eventually, source, it becomes a point where you just show up anyway when you know you didn't get the credentials, you just show up anyway. Because I've seen people do it. I've done it. I've showed up anyway knowing I didn't get it because I got answers. I got questions and I need answers.
mm,
It can't just never be we didn't just pick you. Sorry. I think we deserve more than just you didn't get picked. Sorry. You know, especially
that's
when
in
you
some
learn,
cases.
huh?
That's in some cases. Others is like there is like there is a intense high demand for some of those events. So like
Yeah,
I really don't fret about it in most
yeah,
cases. Uh, so there'll be somewhere I'm like, yeah, I know that there's like way too many requests for this, but
yeah,
like some of the other ones, then I'll be like, you sure that there wasn't? And I'm like, I'm not all too certain about that. So it's it's a toss up at times with that. So I'm like, yeah, it's whatever in some cases. But usually I get a gauge of what the demand is depending on the event. Like for example, Tank versus Roach. Like of course you're gonna get a high demand of requests for that event alone.
yeah,
So me, I'm not going to. I wouldn't necessarily say I wasn't going to bother doing it, but the thing is like I know that I could, but if I don't, I understand. See what I mean?
yeah,
But like in other cases, like if it's a smaller event that's like around like a local thing or whatnot, and if you could gauge that there's not enough local interest in it, then yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure why they would, kind of like do that. Because I mean, given like my status, I ask those questions too, but I don't really like, fret over it that much. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Those are just some of the things I think about when it comes to it, and I'd be like, yo, man, like, what is going on? There was times I said somebody said was like, yo, you're not going down there, and I'm the type of guy I can go down there with my camera after the event, and you go, oh, I ain't see you sitting inside. And I could be that guy, but I don't know. So it's, to me, I have no interest in doing that.
Oh, okay, okay,
Like I like when the event is over and you standing outside and you see all your media friends come out or the people you know.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
a good feeling. It's not a good feeling to me.
yeah,
Um, because I worked hard for it. It's different when you're still working your way. And even though there's certain things I'm doing, I've been in some big rooms. So I look at it like I earned it. So, I'm just a guy who's not gonna just show up and, oh, you can go sit with the fans. Go sit with the fans and I'm like, no, because when you're going in the Palladium, I can't carry my equipment with me if I'm walking in as a fan. You know what I'm saying? Because that could be used as a weapon if you're not media. So they're not going to let you do that. So I could never just sit up there with a camera in my hand and be like, yeah, and then looking down there and seeing all the media people. Like, that's just, it's not something I'm ever going to do. So me, I'm the type I go, you know what? I'm just going to stay home. You know, I'll stay home and I'll watch it, or I'll find something to do. But you know, we have to get what we're worth, and we're worth way more than what we're getting. You know, we work hard at this, and like I said, we got so many great fights coming up, man. Out of all these fights that's coming up, though, which one are you looking forward to the most?
It's good. Well, they haven't. Well, since they haven't officially announced Tank versus Roach yet, the one that I'm looking forward to the most actually is the rematch between Fundora and Tim Tszyu.
Yeah, I talked about that the other day. I definitely am. Yeah, that's definitely one of the ones I'm looking forward to.
Because that first fight, those first couple of rounds, it almost looked like it was going to be Tim Tszyu dominating.
Yes, it did.
And then once the cut happened, you just seen Fundora like fight a completely different fight that we haven't like really seen him do that much.
He took advantage of the moment.
He took advantage of the moment, but also he actually fought like he was 6'7". We rarely see him do that, you know.
He turned into a shark that smelled blood when he was, even though he was the one, they both was bleeding, but he became the shark in that fight.
Yeah. So and he had to, you know, deal with breathing issues himself. So it was that was just something right there. So I was really, really impressed with what he did in that fight. And you know, him having to wait a whole year to have another fight and then going up against Cordell Booker and pretty much like overwhelmed Booker within 4 or 5 rounds. Now he gets right back into it against Tim Tszyu here coming up, and that's gonna be a quick turnaround. Well, it is for like both fighters. So I'm really interested in seeing that.
Yeah, I am. Like I said, so far for this year, no complaints. And let me ask you though. Now they just changed the whole when they were going to do the Canelo and Crawford, right? And now they're talking about finding somewhere to do it. Now we know just as well, source, that it ain't nowhere in hell that fight will be in New York. So I don't even understand why they're saying, well, we're looking for places to hold it. Y'all know damn well y'all not going to bring Canelo and Crawford here, which you should, because let me explain. The fan base in Vegas with Mexicans is very huge, but it's also huge in New York. But for some reason, I know they won't hold it here. I don't know why.
Money. It's always been money. Like,
yes,
it's always been money. Like it just pales in comparison to have a fight in New York than to have the fight in Vegas. Like even if you would have had Madison Square Garden available, even having it at T-Mobile Arena ends up being more lucrative for them than to have it at Madison Square Garden.
But it wouldn't be nothing like Fight Week in New York. I mean, I know Fight Week in Vegas is mean, but Jesus. A Canelo and Crawford in MSG? Oh,
yeah.
And you doing a press conference, not in the theater, but in the big venue?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Sauce. You know what that looks like. And then you open it up for fans? Even the weigh-in. All that.
Yeah.
You know, the media workout, if the weather's nice enough at that time, which it still is, it's not cold, it's September 13th, the weather's still warm. You take the ring, like they used to do with Top Rank, you take the ring and put it in the back, where they used to put it in the back of Madison Square Garden and lock that side of the Penn Station down, put a ring there, do a media workout. It's great. But of course, they're not going to do that. So that's why when they mentioned New York, I was like, I don't even know why y'all even bother entertaining, because y'all know damn well. They always like to mention here like they're going to do something, knowing damn well Source that they're not going to do it.
Right, yeah.
I hate when they do that, because I'm like, y'all know y'all not doing it here. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because when you see Amanda and Katie Teller, I'm like, yo, this is why I be like, Y'all got the audacity to sit there and say y'all don't want to watch women boxing, and some of your women are doing better than your favorite fighters. I think Canelo and Crawford not only sells out, but it's just, I don't know, man. Like I said, it's money. It's money, and that's the part of the business that people shy away from, or they don't want to understand, or they're not trying to understand that if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Yeah.
So if you do this at the Garden, and let's just say if you do this at the Garden and it doesn't do that well, we're just saying, you know how much backlash they'll get for that? Because the first thing people go is, as much as those Latinos in New York, Mexicans and African Americans, you telling me this was all they did? And plus, they add the pay-per-views to that because everybody loves to run to the pay-per-views. It's I mean, to me, it doesn't matter where you put it at. I was just having the thought of, oh, okay, they did it in New York. That would be nice, but I mean, we know they're not playing.
I mean, we were able to get this, two events in New York City, I guess. One for this month, one for July. So,
And that's good enough for me. And really, we're getting three. I mean, of course, we had the Times Square. Now you got George Cambosis and Hitchens, and then you got the July 11th and July 12th.
they might have another one July 26th. I gotta see if Xander Zayas is gonna have his title fight there.
Oh man, underrated. I almost forgot about our Puerto Rican Boricua brother Xander Zayas. Oh, since we're on that underrated and source, what do you think? Do you guys? I don't want to say dubbed. I usually use that word, but I'm trying to show Fedora some respect. What do you think happened in your own words, Source? What do you think happened with the Fedora and Xander?
Money. That's it.
Mm.
Because, like, if it's either have a fight here with Xander Zayas or have a rematch with Tim Tszyu.
Options.
Tells you, if you look at what would be the more lucrative fight, that's rematch with Tim Tszyu is easily the more lucrative fight. And on top of that, okay, you can fight for 2 belts with Xander Zayas, or you could fight with 1 belt against Tim Tszyu, where you get to keep more of your money because you don't have to pay sanctioning fees for 2 belts. Too easy for me.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out at the time. I said, okay, because I thought it was great when I first heard it. That some people were like, "Yo, he's not ready for Fedora," and I'm like, "Well, we always can't keep saying who ready for who, because that's the problem with boxing now. This is the sport of boxing. I mean, when you get that opportunity, you got to take advantage of it. So I mean, yeah, money. I know money always plays a role. Money always plays a role, and it's sad. And this is the reason why when they don't give these fighters whatever they asking for, this is when they go and turn to Turkey. This is when they try to get a relationship with him because they know you know what Turkey is like? Turkey's that grandparent that when your parents say no, what do you do?
Yeah. You go to they say you go to grandma's usually.
Yeah. But what? I'm not. I don't want to call Turkey grandmoms, but he's that grandparent that you go to.
Right.
You ask your mother for $5, and she says no. You go to your grandfather, and he gives you 20. Now you like, yeah, ma, I'm not coming to your ass no more. I know, whatever you don't give me, I'm going to grandpa. And that's what he is. So eventually, a lot of fighters that don't have relationships with them, that's how they're gonna do it because it's like they're gonna start having relationships because of money.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Turkey wasn't doing what he was doing, a lot of people would be like, I don't need to conversate with him. Who the hell he supposed to be? He not doing nothing for me or my career. But money talks. And you have guys who went over there and made the most money they have ever made since being with him. And you've had guys who've had the opportunity, like what we saw in Times Square, that was the opportunity for all those guys to make the most money that they probably have ever made. We know T.O. doesn't get big checks.
Nope.
So Ramirez, I doubt it. Devin was just coming back, so he needed that. Barbosa, I'm sure he doesn't either. So, and the crazy thing about it is, out of all those guys, my problem is I don't know which one of them we're going to see come back this year. I'm doubt if we see Ryan because he's going to go on the bye-byes. He's going to go on the hiding spree for a minute. But this is what these are the times that we're living in now. That these guys are going to get this bag, or when you telling them we'll pay you 1.5, then you got a guy like Turkey that goes, I'll give you $5 million though.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, damn, that $5 million is down way better than that 1.5. No, I'm just gonna go do business with the Turk, man. What do you like? Like it's crazy when you think about it, Sauce, because it seemed like if he wanted to, because he still needs these promoters around, he could clean a lot of this up and run these people away. Just off of what he's paying.
I mean, it could, but then you still have to run the risk of seeing like, oh, how long is he gonna do this? Is he doing this without much return at all?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing that I'm looking at. I feel like this July 12th event has the potential of being his first solid successful event that he's done. Like, I don't necessarily count the Eubank versus Ben because it wouldn't have mattered who put that up. That was going to sell, no matter what.
Yeah.
So something like this, where you're going to have like a Berlanga in a Hamza Shiraz, where no one like really thought like a fight like that would kind of take place, and no one, would say, hey, yeah, we would want to see Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz. Being honest, like no fan really was thinking about that as a potential fight, especially being at 168. Stevenson versus Cepeda. Yeah, people have been waiting to see that fight there at lightweight, but nothing where it's like highly anticipated like that to a very high level. But it's still a solid fight nonetheless. And having a couple interesting fights on the undercard could kind of sell it, but now we got to see if this is going to bring good enough success for Turk Al-Sheikh and Ring Magazine. The venue itself only holds like 14,000 plus, so not that many, but still an opportunity to have like a good atmosphere over in Queens, New York.
Yeah, which is crazy because I'm like, Queens, I'm like, all right, how are they going to do this?
Yeah.
What are the ticket prices going to be like? Is it going to be reasonable, or you have to have an invite? You know how he be with them invites.
Yeah, nah, they can't make that mistake. Not for this.
No, not for this, because the Times Square is something that people are going to have to talk about 20, 30, 40 years from now with the way they did that. So we can't afford any more screw ups. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be great July 12th, man. I hope everybody can make it out for that, man. It's gonna be, I mean, think about it. We're going from the Garden, we're going from Manhattan to Queens.
Yep.
Back to back. In 1 week. There's no reason why anybody should wake up that Sunday, Source, and be complaining about anything. Because you have so much content. There's going to be so much content going on that week. And matter of fact, July 10th, there's something going on in New York at the Melrose Ballroom. There's a fight, I believe.
Mm.
Primetime Promotions, I believe. So you got a lot going on, Sauce. It's a lot going on. What's going on, OG Steve? What's up? Hot Mom Dukes. So yeah, it's a lot going on there. I'm glad to see Alycia back. I'm glad that we're getting another women's card. And we need it. We need that because these women, man, they're unbelievable. They're special. I'm waiting to see Carissa come back. I believe Carissa comes back July 26th, doesn't she?
Yeah, it should be that.
Where should be
Um,
fighting at?
I'll be in Detroit.
Oh, still Detroit. Okay.
which I would like her to see her on the
Now,
East Coast. I would like to see her on the East Coast again, New York or something. I'm waiting for her to touch down here for a
now
fight.
with her, I saw her out there on Thursday, and it was interesting because she was out there for Shakur Stevenson. I get that. I understand that.
Yeah, yeah,
But you also have a fight that's coming up on July 26th, and you're there in a media press conference. And me, I mean, I'm just, out there on the move, taking pictures and all that type of stuff, but talk with a few people. But I'm also observing what's going on outside of the fighters that are featured in that particular event. And she's
yeah,
out. She's the the multi-division undisputed champion. She's the one that's is stated as the GOAT and everything like that, right? And
right.
for her to have that, and I've seen one person from the media attempt to speak with her, have like some type of interview with her,
Yeah,
but yet she was like not necessarily privy to that, and that she kind of like had a little bit of a priority in a sense because she was there to chop it up with Shakur Stevenson and maybe somebody else, but that's another rumor there. But I just felt like at that time it didn't look like she was very welcoming to the media or for media to
yeah,
approach for something. And
yeah,
with it being women's boxing, we just had this whole segment about women's boxing and how it's kind of like risen in popularity and how much they have like gained momentum. And now you have someone that's supposed to be the flag bearer for women's boxing, and her level of accessibility seems very limited. That to me does not work.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's,
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
it's
that's yeah,
especially like you're having your fights ever since her bout against Savannah Marshall. That was supposed to be at the time the biggest fight in women's boxing because of their rivalry, so-called rivalry in the amateurs, right?
yeah.
Ever since her scoring that win, she hasn't had one fight outside of her area.
Mm,
Two in downtown Detroit and one in Flint. This one here is going to be in downtown Detroit again. To compare that to having what we have with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, there should be no reason that Clarissa Shields should only be limited to her hometown area.
yeah, I didn't think of it like that, man.
And I don't know, and I can't really put a finger on why this is the case. Like I've talked with her promoter multiple times on multiple occasions, and
Yeah,
he puts Clarissa up as far as like one of the greatest like athletes in this particular era, like comparing her to like a Serena Williams, pretty much. But with that being said, if you have those type of accolades and you have that type of story, why is it that you can't get yourself outside of Detroit to have fights?
Yeah, good question.
Good question, yeah.
And
Because I remember somebody asking somebody that me and you know in the media had asked her the last time, not this time, but the time before when she was in New York, was there a possibility to see her in the New York fighting, you know? And she said, yeah, but I'm wondering when. The last time she fought on the East Coast, I believe she was in Atlantic City. That was
yeah,
some
that
time
could have been
ago.
it. That was whew,
Yeah, that was some time ago. I remember that.
yeah,
And I'm not now in my mind, right? This is what I'm saying because I'm only going by what I see. Or are you only a Flint, Michigan / Detroit uh, ticket seller, which
right,
means I'm sure you can sell outside of that.
right.
You know what I mean? Because the thing is, it's not just to gain fans in your city; it's to gain fans all over the world. And she's always in New York. Of course, her relationship with Pat now makes her even more popular. So whoever didn't know about her knows about her now. But if she's gonna really get fans' attention, because there's still some people who don't know who she is, she's gonna need that fight in New York. Um, and I wouldn't mind seeing her in Savannah Marshall or something get it on in New York or whoever's out there.
Nah, I'm saying if she all right, hold up. She's what at 173. I mean that's still nothing there where she can't get back to 168.
Yeah,
Even though some people may say that Savannah a rematch with Savannah Marshall or something. As I mentioned earlier, if we have Shadeja Green beat Savannah Marshall, right?
yes,
Then have one more fight, potentially a rematch with Franchon, because Franchon is fighting June 6th, and that's a unification bout.
yeah.
Franchon wins that, and then has a rematch with Shadeja Green, but this time Shadeja wins. That should be the fight for Clarissa.
Mm.
That should be the fight.
What do you think
Um,
about that? What do you think about that? Underrated?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know,
It sounds
um,
fair enough to me.
yeah.
But It's,
It's
it's,
hey,
it's, it's all
it
on
does.
it's all on Sadeja. I mean, but the thing about it is it's gonna be like well the so-called rumor is that maybe they could work out something where Clarissa fights one of those fighters under MVP.
I was just about to ask you
Yeah.
because of the back and forth with Jake and
Yeah, I
Carissa.
mean,
How
yeah, and
does,
that's
yeah,
I asked the same
how does
question.
that work out?
I asked the same question to my guy, my student, as some would say, because he's been on the beat and stuff like that with the number of stories, and he was there at the press conference too. But
Yeah,
he was the one that like mentioned that maybe Clarissa, kind of like talked with Eddie Hearn there a little bit, and
I
maybe
think she's gonna have to swallow her pride or whatever it is. And when you're trying to give the fans what they want, and when you're really trying to do some business, let's just be honest. Beating women up all day is just not going to be enough to get it. You're going to have to eventually swallow your pride and say, you know what? I'm trying to accomplish this. I'm trying to do that. And I just want to continue to be the greatest ever. But I might have to go ahead and do this. Because Carissa's already 30 years old. Let's just be honest. There's no way she might have 5 more years left in this game.
nah.
She already said she wanted two more fights. She said she wanted to have two more fights and then eventually have kids. So we know what that means.
So we looking at
And
about like 2 more years.
Yeah, so I mean, she didn't say fight for 2 more years, but she said she wanted 2 more fights, right? So,
Yeah.
when you're having kids, that's a process between 8 or 9 months.
Mhm.
So then eventually, you know how that is after you have kids. You let your body get back to where it need to be, then it's hitting the gym. She's 30. She's not old,
Yeah.
but um, there's always another Carissa Shields or somebody out there who's gunning for you, who's saying, "Hey, let me catch this. Let me try to catch this chick before she be on her way out."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to ask you, Sauce, is I don't want to ask this crazy question because, like my brother D. Free just said, there's not so many women out there as it is men. But have you seen anybody out there that could probably match or come close, or who could potentially be an opponent for Carissa in the future, maybe?
Past 2 years, I don't know because I haven't really like caught up with anything as far as like the amateur circuit or anything like that. And
Yes.
from an American perspective, it's just the fighters that we've seen already, especially from here in America. Like there isn't that many at all.
Yeah.
So that's why I said like I mean they're even considering a potential rematch between Shields and Cruz, Luzerne, right?
Yeah.
Because now I mean that's where you had Salida sign French on because that when they did that it's like oh maybe that could be the next thing, but still with that being said, is that enough for Clarissa Shields to have an event outside of Detroit?
Yeah.
And I
Um,
don't think that's the case. So
I
that's
think Carissa could put. I think Carissa could put asses in seats anywhere, but I mean, I don't know what it is about the Detroit thing. Maybe she's comfortable because she's like,
okay.
I'm known. I'm
Well, and how about this then? Why? And here's one question that I would bring up to Dimitri Salida.
yeah.
What prevents him from having an event with Clarissa Shields at the theater at Madison Square Garden at the very least?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and I don't think anything does prevent it from on my side. Um, that's a damn good question.
Is
I wish you were going up there on the 7th, on the 6th, and you could have asked him that.
nah, yeah, because that
He
might be
said,
the only way to
"No."
do it. That might be the only way to do it because ever since
Yeah.
wait, hold on, let me see something here. Ever since, let me check. Let me go back. Damn, when it was. It wasn't a few weeks ago. It was the first of this month. I haven't heard from him.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I hit him up in the email about the
and
fight.
I'm gonna see. Hey, we got to chop it up about these upcoming events because this one he has this thing 2 weeks away. I gotta be able to catch up with him on that. And then after that's done, ask him about this thing here with Clarissa Shields and say, hey, what about having her fight at the theater at Madison Square Garden?
Yeah. Um, because if you can't start off and go, well, we can't put her in the big garden because she's not. We have to start off. Okay, fine. Fine. The theater.
No, it could. The only
They
thing,
could. I think they could. I'm just
the
going by
only,
what they
the
might.
only
I'm just
thing
going by what.
is
Yeah.
here's the thing though. How would that be possible? If there's two ways that it could happen. One, a rematch with Savannah Marshall. That could happen potentially as a main event, but I'm not sure. That would only happen if we have Clarissa Shields at the theater first. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
asked that. Okay. But if it's Shadeja Green, maybe it would be something where Jake Paul is the main event there at Madison Square Garden. Maybe. Because remember, the way that this thing works out for Taylor versus Serrano, Taylor is under Matchroom. Serrano's under MVP. So that is partially why it was a theory that Shields went to Eddie Hearn to see if he would represent her from the in the future.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I want to contact Dimitri Salita. I want to know if he still has rights to Clarissa Shields after her fight in July.
Wow. I didn't think of that. Yeah. So many questions there. There's so many questions and we need answers.
So many questions, yes.
But this is what people don't. These type of topics that we're having is you don't really hear that. You don't hear that coming too much out of a lot of these channels. Everybody, to me, and I'm not trying to.
It's not just channels. It's people that do print media too. Like
them too, and the so-called casuals. Nobody talks about this because everybody assumes they know why something's not happening, and you can't assume. When you look deep into this, and we have questions, so we don't insult her and go, she can't sell out in New York. That's why she's not in New York. No, it's more to it. We got questions because as fans of her, we would like to see her here in New York.
But see, the question is though too. I mean, there's two types of fans we're talking about. We have real boxing fans; those are real casual fans. And the sad thing about the mainstream media want to go with the casual fans, so there's going to be the same narrative going to still be pushed. That's the sad thing about it. But what about what we talking about to ask the legit questions? So we find out legit answers, and that is the problem that they do not want to counter.
And that's the part that bothers me about certain media. And this has been a topic for me for the past few days. I've been talking about it for the past few days. Is that a number of those in the media that are at specific positions are going at this in a way that kind of like, diminishes the integrity of the sport.
Yeah.
You don't see this in the NBA all that much as far as like the actual media, because they actually have an entity that does that. You don't see it in Major League Baseball. You don't see it in the National Football League. You don't see it in like the National Hockey League or any of these major sports, MLS. You only see it, you only would see it in like boxing or maybe MMA, but I don't follow MMA at all. So I don't, kind of like get into that. But in boxing, it's one thing that really hurts the sport because they go at it in a way that doesn't necessarily work for the sport. It didn't back then. They didn't do it back then. So why are you doing it now?
Yeah.
It's more of like a gossip type approach. I don't like that. Because what ends up happening is that that's how a number of things don't end up happening because of that. So you got to be careful. They got to be careful with that approach.
Yeah, we have to be careful with a lot of stuff because it seems like as soon as we get a good grip on boxing, or we think we got a good grip, we're pulling that rope as tight as we can, and then something happens and we end up letting go, and it's like, what happened? And there's a lot of questions that just needs to be answered. So and I don't try to down other people when I say this, but it's just sometimes I look at stuff and I go, man, this why are y'all not answering these questions? Nobody's asking this because everybody wants to assume they know everything and they got the answer. See, what we all three are talking about right now, it's enough for somebody to go sit and think about it. Instead of you jumping up saying, no, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. No, you can't tell me anything. Unless you're in that circle, you can't tell us nothing, man.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. That's why we're asking. For you assumers, stop always assuming because we don't know. And Source is just as deep in the game as I am. There's people he's connected to that shit I can only imagine meeting. There's people I'm connected to. You know, we all have our connections, but we look for answers because we're not just content creators. You know, we're also fans of the sport too, but there's some answers we just don't have. So when we hear you guys assuming that you know this and know that, and I'll tell you why this is not happening. And when you hear the reasons why they tell you so, you go, but where did you get a ridiculous ass idea like that from? Where did you get that from? Who told you that? Well, you know, I read this report that Mike Coppinger, and I go, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. I have no beef with him, whatever, but I go, here we go.
You don't.
I said, here we go.
You don't.
No, I mean, what I mean by that is, far as him doing something to me, nah, but far as everything else he be doing, yeah, he be, oh, Lord, yeah. That's another story. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and I don't have time for most of that.
Yeah, he don't have time for that. But I'm hoping when we look up, she's headlining something in New York. I want to see it.
I'll see if what the situation is, and then propose an idea. Because I'm looking at it. Yeah, I just had it right there. Like, hold on, let me go back. Like we said, I mean, you have 3 or 4 fights in your area, and ever since then, it's been Atlantic City, a couple fights, in Verona, New York, or whatever. So,
yeah,
damn, that's something though. Hold up, I gotta find out. Her pro debut was on that Ward Kovalev, the first fight.
Yeah.
In Vegas. And
Yeah.
she ain't touched the West Coast, but one time since? So, I mean,
once again, ladies and gentlemen, these are just questions. Nobody's assuming. Because you know, y'all people take shit and flip it and go, yo, they over here. No, 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 no. Just like I told y'all couldn't bash Alycia about being some cheat.
Right.
And when you got all these other dudes, I mean, for crying out loud, they gave Dillian White a chance to come back. How many opportunities does this guy get to come back?
Right.
Are you kidding me? And you think I'm about to watch y'all just beat on a woman that's 5'6", 100 and some change? Y'all not about to do that. Come on now. So even when that happened with her, I said, wait a minute, before we jump out the window, let's find out what happened with her. Because y'all gonna have to keep that same energy with everybody else that cheated. Y'all called Devin Haney a bitch just because he wanted to handle his handle with Ryan. How is that possible? Y'all got to think about what y'all say before y'all say it. You casuals, continue to be casuals and stop acting like y'all know everything. And us as media guys have to make sure that they know this. Because some of us media guys, we sound like trolls. And I know you know what I'm talking about, Sauce.
Yeah.
Some of them sound like trolls. And I'm like, you sound worse than the dude that y'all sound worse than the people that we block and report every day, that we try to keep off the channel. Y'all sound like them. And then wonder why I don't know if you know this, but at some point they're going to try to replace media. They're going to try to replace media one day. I don't know when it's coming, but it's going to come. And we can't allow that. I spoke about this before. They're going to try to replace us. We got to make sure that they don't do that. And in order to do that, we got to correct something when it's wrong. Even if it's your favorite fighter. If Devin Haney went out tomorrow and got drunk and got in his car and went and did something crazy, I know the first thing people are going to say, it's okay that he did it. You can't judge him because Tank did it. Oh, I had something to say when Tank did it, and I'm going to have something to say when Devin do it. Come on, DH, you know better than that. What you have in a moment, I'm going to speak about it. I ain't going to bash him. Some of you guys are going to do that because you don't like him. So you're already looking for a reason to come at him. But we just got to keep it more real on these platforms and stop saying what we think people want to hear. Whatever we think is going to bring us views.
Yep.
That's all it be. Well, if I say this, I'm probably going to get 100,000 views for saying this. I'll get more subscribers if I just sound like I know what I'm talking about. People are too afraid to be themselves, source, because it'd be like, yo, man, if I say this, then nobody's gonna pay attention. But if I say that, everybody's in my chat. No, man, it just doesn't. It don't work like that.
Nope.
We have to start keeping it official on these platforms because we're not gonna allow them to replace media. We're not gonna allow them to treat us any kind of way when we're the ones that reporting it. There's no reason why I'm sourced. You should get a credential next week, but then the next month you go to something and you don't. We're out here pushing this work from Monday to Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And we have to continue to stay. Whatever we don't know, we got to start researching what we don't know. Oh, you see when I bring you guys up, source, don't I ask y'all questions? Because I don't have answers. That's what you do. If I have a question, I either call you. I have people I can call because I don't have the answer. I don't get up here assuming I know. We want to see our sister Carissa Shields here in New York fighting. Rather if it's Fantron Cruz, rather if it's Deja Green, rather if it's Savannah Marshall. Any one of them can get it. We want to see it. I want to see Alycia go July 11th to do her thing. And then we see what's next for her. I would like to see, I know it's not going to happen, but I would love to see her and Michaela Mayer get it on again.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. I think Michaela has no interest, and it has nothing to do with her being afraid because she's not afraid. That's not your average white girl. She's not afraid of nothing. You know what I'm saying? So anybody who says, "Oh, she's not going to take it because she know that Alycia will beat her again," that has nothing to do with it. Trust me. Now, if Turkey threw him a bag, it might be different.
That's a fight that would be at least a little bit more possible if Alycia would get up to like 147. That's about as high as she would probably be able to get. At least
that's why I was telling people when they was like, "Yeah, Carissa Shields can come down to 47." I said, "Yeah, if she smokes crack."
Right.
Are you kidding me? And Carissa's no little woman.
No, she's not.
Thursday, they would be like, "Ain't no way she would."
Man, in the words of Aretha Franklin, rest in peace. Ain't no way.
Yeah.
Ain't no way.
No way.
That's suicidal.
Yeah. I've seen Carissa in person. Ain't no way.
Mm-mm.
That woman's shoulders is wider than some dudes I know. Ain't no way. Her one shoulder is two of mine. Ain't no way. So all the people who thought that, hey man, she should go down to 47. What are you smoking, crack? What is she supposed to get out of that besides being dehydrated and standing on the stage looking like Popeye's wife?
Right.
Face sunk in. Eyes damn near ready to come out the socket. And even if she was to win that, she'll have to win that in struggle. And what I mean by that is she'll be able to do what she do, but damn, it's gonna be times she's gonna be, the stamina might be crazy. You know what I'm saying? She might be breathing.
The fatigue factor comes in the picture.
Come on, dog. She might be breathing a little different. Now y'all sitting there talking about why Carissa in the corner with her mouth open, breathing hard. Man, she just went from 100 and so. Come on, dog.
Right.
Because we know 173 is Carissa got to walk around what? What do you think? So it's 180, 185 maybe?
They're around 180.
Or 180.
Come on, man. And you think I'm going to go to 47 to prove what? What am I supposed to be proving?
Close to 30 pounds. You asked her close to 30 pounds to lose it. Come on now.
Come on, man. Are you kidding me?
Yo, what is y'all talking about? Come on.
We seen Roy Jones do this with John Louis. We seen how that turned out.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Take that back. Excuse me. We seen him do it with Tarver. Bad idea. You know what I would have did in that source? I'd have made Tarver ass come to heavyweight. You want to fight that damn bad. I understand why Roy was daring to be great. But the timing was off.
You would have, he should have done that. Because remember, he was close to having a fight with Mike.
Yes.
Very close.
Very close. Which I'm telling you right now, that fight, when you talk about pay-per-view numbers, Jesus Christ. Jesus. But we talking about Roy winning that fight with John Luis. He was you might as well say he was 200 pounds. He said 199, but that's still 200 pounds. So when you going from let's just say you're going from 200 pounds back to 173. Jesus.
That's the best. That's
Jesus. That's some hell of a shit to smoke. So anybody who thinks that Carissa's going to go out her way because Alycia might be playing these mind games with her, it's not going to happen. So any of y'all that's wishing that, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Only Alycia will have to come up to her.
And that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
Because I've seen Alycia in real life, and I've seen both of them. Alycia is about an inch shorter than me. I'm 5'7". I've seen it. Ain't gonna happen. But you got people who are trying to make something make sense that don't make sense. Why would I drain myself, starve myself, losing 30-something? The hell no, man. Y'all trick. Any of y'all that want to see that, y'all crazy. It's not gonna happen. There's 3 women that I'm looking at right now that my man Source said. You got Savannah Marshall, you got Franchon Cruz, you got Shadeja Green. And that's what's available right now. That's what's on the market.
Yep.
Unless they go get some freaking woman that's the female version of Ivan Drago.
Well, also that too, right? Because remember, there was another fight that was also suggested for Clarissa Shields, and that was Chris Cyborg.
Oh.
And the thing with Cyborg was, I had a conversation with Cyborg, at least what it was about a month before she had a fight where she ended up stopping that lady there yesterday. But Cyborg was like, no, because the whole thing with the weight, there's no way that Clarissa was going to get down to anywhere near 154 for that fight. Like, no. So, like she said, hey, if that's not going to happen, then we ain't going to, pursue it. Like, we ain't going to even, go any further with that. So she said she's going to move on and she's going to try to see about competing in her division and see if she could go for a world title in her division. That's her dream, to be a world champion in MMA and boxing. So,
yeah. You just got to make it make sense, man. And we just need more people to understand, because we all don't want to be, because we already get judged as media as them guys don't be knowing what they're talking about. But there's a small portion of us that actually do. We do know. And we're just looking for answers. So when we mention certain things, it's because we don't understand and we need them to help us.
Yep.
You know, and that's all it be, man. I mean, it is what it is. It's a great year in boxing. I'm glad to see Alycia make a return. Now, will you be? Now, this is what I want to ask you, Source. Will you be in New York for either one of these events, rather if it's you attending the fight or media? Well,
That's going to be the tough part. Was going to try to. I'll attend the event July 11th. Like that one, regardless. Just got to be there at Madison Square Garden because in the last conversation I said that I missed the first one there, so I got to make it to this one. So
yeah, so I put my credentials in for that, which I'm gonna stay on. I'm gonna stay on them about it, Magna Media. Whoever I have to stay on about it, I'm gonna stay on them about it because I'm not gonna wait to the week up for them to say you didn't get it. I'm gonna keep emailing.
Well,
and I'm
that's how they usually do it, regardless of the event. That's how they usually do it. The only exception that I've seen is the Jake Paul Mike Tyson. That's the only exception where they sent something in reference to approvals or not. Every other event has been the week of.
Yeah. I'm not gonna wait to see. Yeah, I don't.
So
I
that's
mean,
why,
I know
like, if it's like an occasion where, like, you know what, if I could get a ticket, I'll go ahead and get a ticket. Then yeah, I'll just do that.
Well, I don't want no credential for the fight. I don't want that because I'm working on a ticket.
Yeah,
I put in for the press.
the press conference weigh-in, that.
The way, yeah. I put in for that. I'm not have no interest in working that because you don't want to get to.
That's the thing too. You could check that.
Yeah, I don't. You know why? Because too many people are putting in for the fight, but they don't want to work the press or the weigh-in.
Yeah.
They don't want to. They don't want to work it, and I'm like, what are you doing? You can't always just apply for a fight, my man. For all that, buy a ticket. Yep. So I want to take my wife to it. So that's another reason why I didn't apply for fight. I'd rather me and my wife go. It's just better. It's a great experience for her. I'm thinking about bringing somebody else with me, man. I wish my man Underrated was up here for it. That would be sweet. To be a part of that. But I think I'm gonna do Friday. If I can do Friday and Saturday, that would be great. But I think Friday for me is gonna be more realistic than Saturday. Because this is Turk we're talking about. We don't know how that's gonna go as far as them picking credentials.
Yeah.
But we have to stay on top of it. And we have to keep working hard. We can't keep complaining every time we don't get credentials. I think the only time you should complain is when you feel like your work is not being recognized, it's not being looked at, but you're out here. That's why I told myself, okay, I was doing my morning chop ups, and now I'm like, you have to step it up with the boxing content. Like I'll be on tomorrow morning and I'll be on tomorrow afternoon. And for the rest of this week, I'm gonna go hard. So we just got to keep on doing what we're doing. Look, gentlemen, I'm going to let y'all go, man. I'm going to sit here, just enjoy the rest of my Sunday. I appreciate both of you brothers. And tomorrow it's going to be interesting. I know Source should be busy probably, and it's okay. But if not tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, I got some things I want to get into. My Throwback Thursday is what you guys going to want to attend to because my Throwback Thursday, we're going to be talking about the Nigerian Nightmare, Samuel Peter.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're going to be going in Thursdays. And I know y'all remember the Nigerian Nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, I do, yeah.
So Thursday, we're going to get into it with him. I was supposed to do it last Thursday, and I don't know what happened. I got distracted, and I was just like, forget it. I ain't going to do it. But we'll do that this Thursday. So I'll see y'all, man. Gentlemen, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Be safe.
All right, for sure.
All right.
Sure, thank you.
You already know.